And I'm glad you joined because I was like going to wait for 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, this session was for Monica. And if, otherwise,
Yeah,
because
my laptop went into for update.
right. It just, it's a tight schedule for me, but I guess it's so important. So, Monica, first of all, I just want to acknowledge what happened here because this is a very important shift that you experienced today. Because most parents only notice it after they react.
Hmm.
But the fact that became aware during that emotional moment, and held yourself back, that is the beginning of the shift happening, the emotional mastery as a parent. So you're as if you were acting, you're getting angry, and there was some other Monica like, hey, what are you doing? And
I'm back.
that was a huge shift because children's behavior does not create our anger. Though our mind is telling us, my son, my daughter, they are the one that's making me upset. They are not.
It was
Their
not. I realized.
behavior triggers something that's already happening inside us. And why is that happening? Why is their behavior triggering us? Is because we feel that our expectations are violated. As parents, it's very natural to have expectations from them because we are only thinking good for them. And then our control over them feels threatened as if they are disrespecting us. And parents are already at a very high level of stress. And then, we just feel overwhelmed and overloaded. And when all this mix up is happening in our mind, the natural thing is,
To
we
react.
blast, we react.
Hmm.
And like, for whatever small reason, let's say if the child drops something or, the parent react either by shouting or yelling, not because they don't love the child, because the parent is so exhausted, working round the clock, trying to have, if there is anything called work life balance between the work and the home and the cooking and the cleaning and the kids and the raising, it just like, you don't have that bandwidth at all, the
Correct.
mental and emotional bandwidth. So it's just going to trigger. It's like you're blowing a balloon, there's only enough air you can blow. If it crosses the threshold, it's going to blast. And that's
Last.
exactly what happens. And it
Correct.
happens so often with us because theoretically, we all know when a parent is calm, we can teach our kids. But in a stressed out position as a parent, we just explode. And this has become our pattern, not once or twice, to be honest, over the years. And when we have practiced this pattern so much, and the reason I'm saying we practice because I want to take responsibility as a parent. Though I'm not the cause, but I'm the effect. The cause can be, overwhelmed, overloaded, overexhausted, whatever it is. I, as a parent, when I'm not able to manage my life, I explode. And it doesn't end there. Then the new cycle starts of guilt, regret, because somewhere when we are calm, we know that wasn't the right thing, or that's not something that we intend to do with our kids. Because most reactions, these are our conditioned patterns, isn't it? Like, specifically think about it. When we are trying to go out, just as we are ready to lock our home, one of our child says, I need to use restroom. And it's like, what were you doing until now? We are going to get late. Because our mind is focused on reaching time. Our child has no clue. And that's where the gap is. I mean, we know that our child may not know. But then, hey, man, I
There
agree.
are Hmm. There are certain thumb rules. Whenever you will ask them to study, they will feel hungry
Yeah.
or they will be thirsty.
Yeah.
Whenever you have to step out, you are already telling them to go to washroom. They will not. At the end minute, they will ask to use it.
Yeah.
So there are certain things which are bound to happen, and there is no point of getting frustrated about those situations. That is going to happen.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what happened, what I'm hearing is, Monica, we are so accustomed to these behaviors, these patterns. We have given up as parents. We have just
Correct.
accepted it. That's what I heard you say. It's not going to change. And so we are not hopeful anymore. We have lost our hope, that things will change.
No, that is a reminder for myself. There is no point of getting angry. This thing will happen again and again. So better to stay calm and handle that situation calmly.
Okay, good point. You are making such solid points today, Monica. But is that realistic, what you just said?
Actually, I am practicing one rule that if it is taking one minute to 5 minute time, it's fine. I'm not failing to reach to take any flight or something. It is not that type of situation. If I'm
Yeah.
reaching late for a class 5 minutes, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to lose those 5 minutes. If it is swimming class or it is a chess class, it's okay
Yeah.
to lose those 5 minutes because the way I am going to react is going to create more trouble
Yeah.
in his mind for the longer duration.
Right.
That 5 minute will come back in some way or manner.
Yeah.
That teacher will compensate or they will take
True.
extra time.
True.
But there is no point of actually
Yeah.
saying that.
This realization came out of frustration, of years of frustration because it wasn't changing. And
And,
you are like, what do I do?
mm,
Do I keep reacting because it's costing you mentally and it's hurting the relationship and nothing is changing?
mm,
So you just like, okay, we give up as parents. And not just now when our kids are younger. Actually, I feel even from the moment our kids are born, we try to teach them something. And sometimes they're more stronger and stubborn than us. And we keep trying. And then we are like, you know what? I have bigger fights to fight. I'm going to let go. Haven't we seen, like, theoretically, everyone says, don't let your child eat while watching TV. Each one of us have heard all this funda from everyone, and probably more from people who don't have kids. So they'll teach, you're being such a bad mom or a bad dad, you're making your child eat. It's very easy to give lectures, give fundas. And we have so much going on that, you know what, at least my child is eating. Let him or her sit in front of TV because you're exhausted. You're also a human being. So when we let go of that 5 minutes late, because we don't have more energy, but it doesn't come free. It just comes free in the moment that you're not getting upset. But in some other way, we are teaching different values. And when we later talk about punctuality, it's not going to fit in well
correct.
because we have trained them that it's okay to be late. And my intention is not here to point out the mistake. My intention here is to let's step out from our parenting role and see what's happening. Because the more aware we are, it's never going to be right or wrong situation. We'll always have to operate. But when we are more aware, like when we are riding a two-wheeler, if there are bumps in the road, if we are not aware, our two-wheeler will bounce. But if I'm aware, I'm going to brake. I'm going to reduce my speed and go slowly. So though I'm going through a tough thing, I'm able to tolerate that shock. So that's
Correct.
what is happening because parents also have learned to yell, to be afraid. Am I going to be a good parent? Will my child love me when my child grows up? Or will the world say, maa ne kya sikhaya? Yeah, what have your family taught us? And that's why we don't want to be guilty 10-20 years down the road. And that's the pressure we carry. So, and where did it all come from? It came from our upbringing. If we were yelled, we grew up in an environment where we were yelled, or we were just told, or just pushed, we picked up those patterns. We picked up stress patterns if we saw our mom or dad getting stressed out. And we are just reacting because that's normal to us. That's our survival technique. Like, that's how parenting is done. Not like, don't we find such a big difference between Indian parenting and non-Indian parenting or Western style parenting? And it's so much fun for me to interact with parents as well as kids. It's more fun to interact with kids. And I'm always curious. Recently, last November, when I was visiting my family in Canada, I asked my nephew who had a lot of Canadian, I'm like, Nitin, what did you see difference between Indian parenting and, like your Canadian friends? they're like, they'll listen, they'll understand, they'll let them be themselves. So that was a huge revelation. And we are doing because that's our culture, that's our upbringing. Because in the moment of anger, our logical brain temporarily, literally shuts down, it
Shut up.
freezes.
Honestly, when you rightly said that we are not, that if I would allow them to be late,
Yeah.
the punctuality thing is, of course, missing. They will not understand the value of being punctual. I totally agree with you on that point. That was in my mind also, but maybe it was a temporary fix for my mind so that I can stay calm rather
And
than.
that's absolutely fine. And why I want to acknowledge, because it's not just you, Monica. Every single parent of us go through this. But
Hmm.
I have learned, if I'm aware, I
Hmm.
can make better choices. If I'm not
Hmm.
aware, because the biggest challenge of a parent is to be in denial,
Hmm.
to
Right.
have our ego before our love. And I'm sorry, I'll be brutally honest. Because
Today, yes, I tried. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to tell it to everyone. Today, I confessed in front of my son when I yelled at him that I was telling you to do this, but you are not listening to me. I was telling you to use pencil and paper and write it down for solving math problem, but you were not doing. And then when he realized, he said sorry to me. I also expressed my sorry to him that I am also a mom with you. I have not raised 10 kids before you. That I also shouldn't, that I should come up with my best behavior every time whenever you do mistake. I also acknowledge that I also did my mistake. And in a way, by saying that, I did not feel guilty. He was also fine. We sit for 1 hour doing again maths for a whole 1 hour, and he is eating food, playing with me, everything is fine. But when I expressed those feelings in front of him, he's not young, he is almost 10 now. He's not too small or too young, but he is capable enough to understand. And he realized, yes, Mama, I now realize what you were trying to tell me, and I was not listening to you.
that
But
was such a beautiful moment, Monica. And I don't think it came very easy to you to accept your mistake in front of your child, because you were never trained that way.
yeah.
We never saw our parents. So this is the learning we are doing. We are
Mm.
adapting to the changes, how we can change, bring all our wisdom from how we were
Mm.
raised, the good things, and how we can adapt to better things that our kids need or today's time it needs. Because
Mm.
you didn't just tell him, and I'm sure you felt so good about yourself, though it was the toughest thing to do, because our
Correct.
ego comes. What I meant, like, that's our biggest challenge as parent, because we feel, how can I be wrong?
Mm.
And because we as parent become defensive that I don't love my child when someone says you're not doing it correctly. It's not, let's separate love from our actions or behaviors or our words or our tonality. Sometimes we don't even speak something, just our eyes and expression conveys so much to our kids, and they know it very well. So what you did was, you not just, shared where you come from, but you also opened an opportunity for your son to see, okay, adults can also do mistake, but my mom acknowledged that. So that was huge. And if every parent could do that, Monica, and if you continue to do that, it might, on the outside it might look, why should I say sorry to someone so younger, or I'm the one raising. That's one of the leadership quality, to be accountable for one's behavior. Because
Mm.
when I take responsibility for my wrong behavior, then I have a right to discuss that with my child, if and when my child will do wrong.
Right.
Most of the times, parents, we do wrong, we yell them and we expect them to be calm. Because when every repeated emotional reaction happens from parents, it's slowly teaching our child, and they wonder, is my home really emotionally safe for me? And it doesn't happen because parents wonder, what happened to my teen? My teen changed. We fail to realize they didn't change overnight. The change started when they were 7, 8, 10, 12, or actually even sooner when they're 2, 3, 4, or even sooner from the time they were born. Or maybe it even goes back to our childhood, because we are handling how we were conditioned, whether we were aware or unaware. If we are aware, then there's a hope for change, what the situation demands. So instead of we react, if we could explain them emotionally, or, we can share that, what my concern is or what my worry for you is, not in that heat of the moment, but, when things are a little bit calmed down. But for that to happen is exactly what you did today, Monica, to, hold yourself in that moment. Because our children may forget the words we use, but they'll always remember how they felt around us.
Right, right.
That is important. And look back in our childhood. There were relatives or one of our parents where we felt safe and we were afraid of someone to express. So the question for us to ask is, what do I want to have relationship when my child grows up, or my child becomes a teenager or goes to college, or, even later? Haven't we seen enough? Like some of the kids, they say, we don't even want to talk to our parents or have a relationship. And sometimes we feel how thankless these kids are. It's very easy to judge kids or young adults when they don't want to keep relationship. But many times the society forgets to see the trauma that child might have gone through, which is felt, not seen. For the outside world, it looks like a happy family. But what happens inside, the child feels. So when we are reacting, they are saving their feelings, what they're feeling. Because parenting behaviors or, our patterns don't usually improve automatically with time. Just because our kid goes from, 7 to 9 to 10 or whatever, unless we consciously work on, we are open to learning, what am I doing wrong? How can I become better? What is the way to handle this? Because situations won't change. Our kids will still do mistakes. They will still not listen. They will still be, maybe let's say if you're asking them to put their shoes in the shoe rack, simple thing. Every family goes through that. Maybe they'll pick up how to keep the shoe rack, but they'll forget to where they're throwing their backpack. So it's not about shoe or backpack. It's about the skill or the responsibility they feel to keep things in the right place. And that's a bigger thing to teach our kids. And how can we become changing? Like, how can we bring in change in ourselves to be aware, bringing awareness before we start changing? Because we cannot change something that we cannot see. Like we use the example, right? If you're riding, if you're not aware, there is some issue on the road, you cannot save yourself. So just being aware, taking a moment, even when you're having your chai or coffee, like, what things can I, at least one thing, what can I change in my parenting? What's being very costly, that's really stressing my relationship with my child. And let's just pick one thing. So you can handle one thing instead of trying to make, everything perfect. And what you did, like pausing before reacting. Step one is catching, like, I'm going to react. Take a deep breath, or, just divert yourself, find a way, either drink of water or, just step out. Or do something so you're holding that, outburst. And just that one small shift or pause will help. And then how can we emotionally regulate ourselves first before we interact with kids? How can we have more awareness tools, like, having some small routines or techniques? Or how can we upgrade our communication? And I'm sure most of the parents here might have realized we are so used to telling something, any typical example, right? Like sleep on time, or after your breakfast, put the bowl in the dishwasher, simple, regular things which happens every day. We have a typical tone of communicating. And that tone becomes an anchor in their mind, in their trigger. And it
Yes.
triggers them. Think about your childhood. When somebody said something, it's not the words, it's the way they say it.
Whenever you are going to, when you know that you have done a mistake, I still remember my mother would be saying in a typical tone to express her anger.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it wasn't
Especially
the
the
words.
tones which are for the negative emotions
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
totally, they are, they are like a sticker which is pasted on my mind that I can recall that tone. So the
Right.
tone does matter. Rashmi, one more thing
Yeah.
I would like to ask from you
Sure.
that currently I am struggling in the loop of respond,
Hmm.
react, then
Hmm.
respond, then react.
Hmm.
I'm struggling in between the loop of these. I'm not in the constant phase of responding wisely.
Right.
This is my ask.
Yeah. Okay. And again, for that, see, when you're saying about how your goal is, how do I always or maximum times respond versus react? And that is not in your control right now. Though you want that, what's happening is probably sometimes you are able to respond and sometimes you're just reacting. And you might want to change that. And the reason you want to change because you are an aware parent. You're a parent with awareness that I want to build a strong relationship and I realize and acknowledge this is not the right thing. And I'm sure that comes from because probably what you're thinking, your parents didn't think. When I say your, I guess it's all of each one of our parents, not just you. I'm just, interacting with you, but it applies to each one of us. And they never acknowledged. And the tonality, what we talked about, even at this age, you remember the tonality of your mom. And it can be mom, dad, or anybody, guys. We remember. So we are doing the same mistake. So when we say something, we have a typical tone and that gets registered. So it's not the words we are saying, it's how we are saying. And when we say that, it has a negative meaning. And when that has a negative meaning, then nothing goes in once the moment they hear that tone, because then it's blocked. Because anyway, she's going to criticize me.
Right, right.
We have done the same thing, but we forgot when we became parent. Now we justify our reaction. We have our 10 reasons why I'm behaving this way. Why am I yelling at my child? Because I have the responsibility. If I won't yell, who will yell? How many times we feel that I care about my child the most? Who is going to care? Not my neighbors. So it's my responsibility. That's all true. So it's time. Let me take time to define my responsibility and how I'm going to handle it. And that happens when we have some time, when we learn these strategies, Monica. It doesn't happen by default or by time or, just because I am a certain age or my child is in seventh grade. So, things are actually going to become more challenging. Why? Because I'm not changing, but my child is changing every day. My child is growing up in a completely different environment that I'm not aware of, in a completely different environment that probably I don't even want my child to go in. If I could have control, I don't want my child to see certain things or listen certain things or watch certain things. But I guess at least at this moment, we as parents have realized we have already lost that control, which was there probably 20 years back, when every child did not had a screen in their hand.
True.
And we cannot change that. The only thing we can do is how do we adapt? How do I build up so I can still able to connect with my child? And all those things like patience, calmness, because no matter what, if I don't manage my life, Monica,
Yes,
no external factor is going to help me or my child.
correct.
And at the end of the day, 5, 10, 20 years from today, we don't want to be sitting and regretting.
Yes. That is why we are trying to learn.
Exactly. And that's beautiful. And that's why I'm thankful to you and every parent in this community, because each one of you is open to changing. You guys are not sitting like, I can't be wrong. You're coming, okay, what can I learn so I can have a good relationship? And we are always evolving, because if we don't do that, the negative triggers will continue to happen. Because our goal is not to become a perfect parent. The goal is to become more aware parent, because awareness will bring change in us in our relationship, and we'll be able to accept each other as human rather than, so sometimes we'll open up and give more grace to our child to do mistakes. And our child will forgive us sooner, thinking that when we are open to accept that, hey, I did a mistake, I'm sorry. And if that's a genuine sorry, the child will feel it. I've also heard from kids, sometimes parents say sorry, just, okay, sorry, I messed up. And it's not a genuine sorry. Kids may not argue back. Our kids, I feel, are more smarter than us. We will not give up. We'll keep fighting, until you agree with me. I'm going to keep pouncing you like, that's right? I was right. Our kids will not, maybe they'll try to express once or they shut down. And the reason they shut down because they've gotten a feeling that my parents are not going to change. They don't understand. That's the common thing I have heard. If a child, younger one, says, I love you, a teenager says, my parents don't understand. That has become their baseline statement. And imagine if that is the baseline, what's going to happen to our expectation that my child should come and talk to me? It's not going to, even happen a little bit. Do our kids need our guidance? Absolutely. But because they believe we don't understand and we can't force them. Because it's like when parents are reacting, we are reacting based on where we are, what stress I'm handling. If something is going on at my workplace, I'm going to react, more quickly because my tolerance is less. Or if some argument is going on between husband and wife, our tolerance to handle challenging situations with kids is shortened. Because then as a person, you're thinking, how many stress can I handle? With my spouse, with my kids, nothing is working out. And it starts escalating and it only hurts. And we can only look at this when we are not in that moment. In that moment, it is justified. It feels justified because we are mentally exhausted. So we have to find ways, how can I, sort myself out so that what you asked, Monica, so I'm more able to respond. And then learning, what does response mean? Because it's not like a one size fit all. Response means different things in different situation with different child. If you have more than one kids, one response won't work for all
I have two
of your
boys.
children. So that's the art, and we have to learn the art and dance, how to interact with the relationship, based on what my strengths are, what my child's needs are, and how can I constantly multitask. So, I still stay emotionally connected, but I'm also a strict parent, which I'm supposed to be because I can be friendly. There's a difference I recently heard, and I thought that was beautiful. Do I want to be my child's friend or do I want to be friendly?
Friendly.
These are complete two different things, because I can be friendly where we can have more conversations. If I become friend, then that respect will go away, or that, authority. And that is needed specifically more when our kids are younger. So they look up to us, or they feel that they have to follow, what we are guiding them or defining their boundaries. But if a strong relationship is built while they're still young, they will consider our input. I'm not saying they'll listen. They'll
They will
consider
consider.
our input as they grow, when they are teenagers or even outside.
Yeah, they will not
Because,
shut the door on us.
yeah.
They will at least consider listening.
And they might still not, even after considering, they might do wrong thing or whatever they want. But
Honestly, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I do
And
agree with your point. But as a
because I've
parent,
seen enough kids, as they have grown up. Right now, most of us are just focused when kids are younger, or, middle school or high school. What happens after high school? We have zero control.
Yeah.
You might not even get a chance to express or guide them. So right now is your window, guys. You will never get a chance for 5 years down the road.
Correct.
You might have all the time, free time, all the money.
Money.
but that money is not going to buy the relationship you want a stronger. It can be built now for free. It
Perfect.
won't cost, because many times for the lack of strong relationship, parents end up spending a lot of money later in therapy.
Correct.
And I'm not saying therapy is wrong, but we can prevent therapy. What I'm saying is
Right.
it can be done free, but for that, I have to educate myself. How do I handle it? It's like, without taking driving lessons, I won't drive the car. So let me educate, how can I become a better parent in today's time? Because every year things are changing. Like
Right.
when a child ignores homework or, is not doing homework, it upsets us because we don't want our child to fail. It's much cheaper and better to let our child fail early on.
Honestly, yes. Yes.
Because when your child fails in fourth grade, it's so much cheaper than your child failing in seventh grade.
Right.
It's still cheaper than your child failing in 10th grade. Still cheaper than your child failing in college.
I am the live example.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we have to that's where we as adult have to change as a parent.
Yeah.
Let my child fail. Let people judge. Let my friends judge, oh, your child got, because we care more about our market value.
Last month he got F in one. I think reading. In reading he got F.
Yeah.
Then I told him, how are you feeling after getting F? So if you're liking it, it's fine. If you're not liking it, you can make efforts to make it better. I did not scold him, not at all,
Yeah.
not his father.
Yeah.
And
That's
I just told
beautiful.
him because I know that you can do much better.
Yeah.
I have told him, if every school sheets which you are bringing from Friday evening, if you are getting zero, it's
Yeah.
fine. You get those sheet at home. I'm not going to say anything. Just write the name, your name properly, and the date on that sheet so that
Yeah.
I can do. I tell him, if there is zero, there is full scope that I
Hmm.
can teach you. But if you
Hmm.
do not bring the sheet, I do not have any hold of it. I cannot help you to do
Yeah.
better in that.
Right.
And after that, he started bringing his sheets at home.
Beautiful. You know what's happened here? Because you did not correct him in the moment, you did
Mm.
not judge him. And I'm sure there was a lot exploding in your mind, in your heart, and you took charge of that. If you could, you would have reacted so much, but you controlled that. So, what did he learn? Because what you gave him the power in that moment, Monica, your zeros are yours, your A's are yours. You
Mm.
gave him the gift of ownership,
Mm.
the gift of responsibility. Because as parent, when we become upset when they get less grade, as if it's my grade, to some extent it is in my mind, because I want to show off to people how wonderful my kids are. I want to put it out on social media, my child got this.
Certificate.
Exactly. That's my market value. So it doesn't matter how you feel, whether you love science or not. You have to get A, because we have heard in India, na, wo Sharma uncle ka beta, ya Sharma uncle, I don't know which Sharma uncle, but so, and we grew up with that, and we don't even think, but it's ingrained in us. And by default, we think that way. And then, so, it's just, we have to break that wrong thing.
Honestly, I totally agree with you. Why I learned those things? Because I got failed in
Exactly.
12th.
Yeah.
Not one time, not two times, three
Right.
times.
Yeah.
I got failed in 12th
Yeah.
consecutively.
Right.
Everybody was in shock that she never failed in her life, but in
Yeah.
12th she's getting failed.
Yeah.
But that failure of mine has taught me so many lessons. And then I understand it's okay. One subject में F ही तो आया, it's fine.
Yeah. See, because you went through that experience, you were more open to let your child fail.
Mm.
And I want to make this as a framework and take this framework and apply everywhere in life. Many times we are open to let them have experience that we have experienced. But certain things where we have not failed, then we are not open for that experience.
Yeah.
So that is beautiful. And failure is what? Because again, you did not fit to the expectations of the society or what was norm that everyone has to pass.
Right.
And that doesn't define our life. It's one moment. And that doesn't mean you're not academically brilliant or intelligent. There might be several reasons, health reasons, or I didn't pay attention. I wasn't interested. But the moment any person decides, anyone can achieve anything because each one of us have potential.
Right.
So either we realize our own self-worth or, we let the world's opinion drive us or our future.
Yes.
So, Monica, your breakthrough was not just not yelling. Your breakthrough was becoming aware during that emotional moment, which is huge. Because before awareness, what happens is there is a trigger, then we react, and then we regret. But with awareness, what happens is trigger is still there, but instead of reacting, we pause and we make a choice. And when we pause, we are able to make a better choice. So our awareness creates space between our emotion, what we are feeling inside, and the action we take or reaction, if we can say that. And that small space changes everything. And how do we continue to practice that more is the key here. It's not one-time thing, or it's not like the first time or the last time. It's consistently happening. So our emotional patterns, which are repeated daily, it slowly becomes our relationship pattern between our child. They know they can predict us, how we are going to handle. So our children may stop sharing long before parents realize that the emotional distance has started. Many times parents feel that when the kids reach high school, but the emotional distancing starts way ahead before they reach high school. So it doesn't become very easy just because our kids grow up. Actually, it becomes more tough when our kids become teenagers.
Correct.
Because now they are more vocal. They can, literally create clear distancing and boundaries. So while your kids are young, and that doesn't mean there's no hope if your kids are in teenage years or later. There's always hope as long as you are willing to do the work. And what we are discussing here today, Monica, is not just parenting advice. It's our emotional conditioning. What are we learning? How can we change our communication patterns, like we talked about tonality? How can we adapt to our relationship dynamics? Because trust me, that's changing. If you have a son and daughter, it's already different. Or even if you have two sons, it's going to be different based on their personality.
Yeah.
So the key here is, how do I master these skills? How do I understand the patterns so that, I can communicate and build that stronger relationship? And for here, we discuss all these issues and all. And what we do is, I have like bringing all this work together to go dive deeper and create strategies and use tools so parents can start using, practicing in a safe environment. I have our effective parenting inner circle where we go more into coaching and using strategies. And for all the parents here, when they feel ready or, to step up and learn more, I'll be happy to share. You guys can reach out to me and I'll happy to share more about the inner circle, where we are not just talking about what's happening and why it's happening, but we are actually able to see how can we find solutions, how can we implement, or what can we learn to a specific situation or to a specific behavioral pattern that can help build strong relationships.
Yes.
Any other questions anyone has? Well, then thank you so much. And I appreciate you guys adjusting, because tomorrow morning I'm flying out, and next weekend, like I said in my message, I'm again attending another of Tony Robbins program. So I'll be out. But
Where are you going to attend that?
So right now I'm going on a family vacation to Barcelona, but even though I'm on vacation, I will not miss Tony's program. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be attending, and probably past midnight or whole night. So I'll be back on next Tuesday, and then next Sunday we'll be back here on a regular time. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica. And please keep bringing up, not just to you. So I appreciate you being so active and, engaged, Monica, because you're not just helping yourself, but every parent in this community. So I appreciate that. Take care, guys.
Honestly speaking, it takes sometimes whenever I'm writing that I yelled or I I did not respond the way I expect from myself to do. It is humiliating in my mind,
Yes.
but this is a phase that I need to go through in order to become a better version as a parent.
And that's why I love you as a human being and I respect you as a mother. You're doing something, Monica, which is the most difficult thing for an adult and as a parent. And that's what I want to acknowledge and I want to appreciate. Because all of us go through this. You're not the only one. But 9 out of 10 times we hesitate to share because we are judging our own self that I'm not a good parent and we know everyone will judge me. But you're becoming, if you allow me to use the word shameless in a good sense, for you, your love and hunger to become a good human being is so much more that you're willing to become shameless in the moment that I'm going to accept myself that I yelled. So you're not holding that shame and staying in that mask. You're breaking through that, and that requires courage. It's not easy. But only when you do that, you're creating the possibility to change.
Right.
The moment you told your son, I'm sorry, I yelled or I did a mistake, that was the toughest thing to do. But after that, how did you feel in your heart about yourself?
I felt totally fine that I have not done any, like I did not go into that guilt phase after that.
But were you proud of yourself?
Yes.
That you had the courage to tell it's not easy. Because we feel, and I've been there. Even like I shared sometime back when I was 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, when I was on vacation with my daughter. And we were there for a long time and something came up. It is going to come up. And there were times I'm like, I'm so sorry that this happened. I wish I had more awareness. Now it has become much easier for me to say sorry. Trust me, I've been there. 20 years back, I was so stubborn and strong in my own world. But this journey, this learning had given me a chance to crack open my ego and myself so I can become a better human being. And you cannot become a better human being without taking responsibility.
Yes.
And also not feeling guilty because I don't know what I don't know. I'm repeating, I don't know what I don't know. So when I don't know something, how can I, and that's what many people are in denial because they are not even aware they're doing wrong.
Yes.
But I've learned like when I know better, I do better. And this journey has given me a chance to do better. So what you are doing, Monica, 10, 15, 20 years, when you and I'll talk again or we'll circle back here, you will realize that this was the day when that helped to build a stronger relationship with your son. Because you accepted yourself and your actions, specifically wrong actions. And you did not use force or pressure or your authority to tell your child, when I yell, it's okay, but you can't. So you are not holding dual standards.
Yes.
You are not a hypocrite. But you cannot tell your child that, hey, respect me or I'm not a hypocrite. You can only convey through your actions, and you are doing that, Monica.
I'm trying. There is a lot to learn.
And as I believe, I've been an athlete all my life. So I believe if you're a runner, if you're on the track, then there's a hope for winning. You know how the running track is there? If there are 10 people running, there's a possibility you might come in top 3. But if you're not even on the track, you're sitting on the ground, there's no possibility. Right. So when you say you are trying, you're on the track. I see you on the track. And when you're track, you're going to only get better.
Right.
So thank you for doing that for yourself, for your kids, because you have no idea how you will transform your family's life just
Thank
because
you
you're
so
open.
much. Thank you so much.
So thank you. And I'm happy and glad that you're part of the community.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Monica. Thank you, Raj.
It's because
Thanks.
of you. It's because of you. I feel the confidence that I can share anything with you.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Take care,
Thank you.
guys. Bye.
Bye.